Assalamu alaikum Shabbat! I want you to be loud. I want you to be proud. It's time to be brave. Are you ready?
A man's vision, determination, inspired a generation. It gave a new dream for the youth of his homeland. It created a groundbreaking revolution in the sports. When a vision is strongest, nothing can stop its far-reaching impact. And the vision was 3 powerful letters: KHK. And today, his vision is far-reaching. The valor and pride of his homeland is far-reaching. Today, his vision is defining the future of a new generation. A generation of heroes and of gladiators. Today is the day of hope for the hopeless. The day KHK will inspire the souls to fight back, irrespective of what they are and who they are. Many will emerge as heroes. This will be a new era of true heroes and gladiators. When he stood in the front and led them, they called him the Prince of Gladiators and Heroes.
recommended, Decky Larkin.
There you have the tale of the tape, ladies and gentlemen. 17 years old versus 18 years old, respectively. Slight height advantage to Ali Abu Hamda.
You ready? Yeah. Let's do this.
Here we go. As you say, this is an amateur bout. Both men wearing larger gloves, rash guards and shin guards, as is dictated by IMAF protocol. There will be no elbows, no knees to the head. And you can see Ali Abu Hamda with that Thai style, very much upright, very straight base.
Phil, Ali's chin is coming up just a little bit when he gets swarmed. If he keeps that up, he may end up flat in his back.
What you may see is Mohamed Zahir try and force his opponent back. There's the big double leg right down to the ground. Inside the closed guard now of Mohamed Zahir. Let's see what he can do off his back. And obviously we know the KHK MMA guys are so well versed in this wrestling to strike combination. You can see he's just solidifying top control here, landing his shots, enough to keep himself honest. But it's such a hallmark of KHK MMA nowadays, just that strong wrestling, establishing positional control and then landing your strikes. And you can see Mohamed Zahir is in no rush right now. He's not trying to force the action. He's just letting the action unfold. He knows where he wants to be. He's happy to sit inside the half guard.
Phil, right now, Abu Hamda needs to get his back up against the wall and work himself back up to standing where he wants to be. I don't think that rubber guard is going to be effective against an opponent the caliber of Mohamed Zahir.
He may just be trying to set up a triangle right now. If he can establish wrist control and push the wrist of Mohamed Zahir down, you could see him perhaps trying to work for a triangle, Carrick. He does have bicep control on the left side.
Do have to say, Phil, it's a very impressive range of motion shown there. I was not anticipating seeing a rubber guard attempt from a well-known Muay Thai stylist, but this is mixed martial arts.
Mohamed Zahir wise to it and progresses into that half guard position, thus isolating the left leg of his opponent. And from here, that rubber guard is just really much being used as a stall technique right now. He's not really trying to progress into the likes of an omoplata or a one-arm triangle, but
got the underhook, looking to come back to standing. This is exactly what he wants to do.
And Zahir intelligently just pulls those hips away from the cage. So Ali Abu Hamda can't really base up and use the cage to get up, but you can see him trying to scoot back against the cage and try and use that as a means from which to work up to his feet.
Almost up. And down again.
And that's bound to be frustrating if you're Ali Abu Hamda right now. You've worked so hard to try and get to that position. You've essentially got 3 points off the ground and then you get taken down.
Phil, this is the downside of having a Muay Thai background. You're heavily reliant on those kicks, and those kicks do allow takedowns to happen quicker than they might ordinarily.
And you have to give credit to the positional awareness of Mohamed Zahir there in the closing stanzas of the round. He took his opponent off the cage, turned him around into the open area of the mat, which was very, very intelligent.
He's got Kuheji in the corner now. We may get a Green Hill replay. We're holding on that, and there it is. Phil, walk us through.
It was Mohamed Zahir very much happy to strike in the beginning. You see that upright stance, and Mohamed Zahir almost baited his opponent into standing with him, ducked underneath, scored an absolutely sumptuous takedown. And from here you can see Ali Abu Hamda was trying to do as much as he could, but off his back it's always going to be very, very difficult against a KHK MMA product, someone who's so well versed in the wrestling for mixed martial arts game. And we are primed and ready for the second round of mixed martial arts action in the amateur flyweight division. Here we go, seconds out, round two.
Oh,
Ali Abu
that was a
Hamda
little naughty.
opens up with a big kick. You can see he's widened his base ever so slightly, almost in anticipation of that takedown. And it's going to be interesting to see, does Ali Abu Hamda have any kind of takedown defense, given that it's almost inevitable that Mohamed Zahir will shoot in.
Phil, we're seeing Abu Hamda moving a little bit more forward and backward.
Oh, that's a beautiful hook coming in there from Zahir. but just shy with a big head kick. And the thing with those head kicks or kicks of any kind of sort, they leave yourself vulnerable to the takedown. Double underhooks established here by Mohamed Zahir. Should he choose to inside or outside trip, the takedown will be right there for him. And the clinch is just so important in all of mixed martial arts, but especially in amateur mixed martial arts. Exchange of knees inside that clinch for both men. Switch to the single from Mohamed Zahir. Can he get the hands connected? Perhaps get that leg of his opponent between his legs, but needs to be wary of a potential guillotine. Lovely takedown, but potential for Ali Abu Hamda to take the back there. Mohamed Zahir was wise to it, and now transitioning into the half guard position, and it was from this position that he managed to get some good work done in the very first round. Again, the long limbs of Ali Abu Hamda trying to creep up. Mohamed Zahir just landing little pot shots from this position, trying to keep square with the hips of Ali Abu Hamda, thus negating the submission threat.
I gotta say, Phil, props to Ali Dominator Abu Hamda. He loves to strike. He'd prefer to be striking from standing, but he is throwing as many shots as he's able to, even from bottom.
Well, what I'd like to see from Mohamed Zahir is just sitting back a little bit, posture, get upright, and have a little bit more leverage to land those strikes.
Brave Nation, for those of you unfamiliar with the term posture, in this context, it means the top player's head being behind that front knee. Once the head is in front of that front knee, you no longer have the leverage to strike with particular effectiveness.
And again, such intelligent positional work from Mohamed Zahir just to shut down the hips of Ali Abu Hamda. And so far showing that just there really are levels when it comes to the wrestling element of mixed martial arts, especially at the amateur level, Kirik.
10 seconds now. These are, of course, 3-minute amateur rounds, not 5-minute professional rounds.
10 seconds left, and Ali Abu Hamda trying to throw up a triangle. The wrestling being exhibited from Mohamed Zahir and offering up the likes of a little bit of rubber guard isn't enough to steal a round, isn't enough to try and establish a foothold in the fight. What we need to see more from Ali Abu Hamda is lateral movement, landing his shots, moving. He can't be a static target to be taken down by Mohamed Zahir.
And maybe a little less reliance on kicks to strike with and a little bit more on the hands. If you know your opponent wants to take you down, throwing a kick's not the right thing to do. Mixing up straight shots with uppercuts is the right thing to do. Let's see what happens in this, the third and final round in the opening bout of Combat Kingdom 5. Suhair, eager to get in there.
Again, Ali Abu Hamda just a little bit too upright for my liking, a little bit too static, almost approaching this like it's a Thai fight, and that's a big opening lead head kick.
He's got to be happy with that. May want to try something different this time, though.
But the feet are far too planted for my liking. I'd like to see him a little bit lighter on the feet, employ a little bit of lateral movement, land your strikes, combinations, not just single shots. And I think we're going to see Mohamed Zahir strike to takedown, catches the kick, and another beautiful trip takedown. And it seems to be a case of sort of lather, rinse, repeat for Mohamed Zahir in that regard. Score the early takedown, establish positional control, and pretty much, ironically, dominate the dominator from there, Kirik.
Phil, I did not see any submission threats from Ali Abu Hamda as yet. I haven't seen a submission get close. We've seen a rubber guard being used to
potentially
set up
trying
the
to work
beginning
for
of
an
an omoplata
here.
here.
How impressive would it be if he worked for a Google platter from this
Potential
position?
go-go as well, I was just going to say.
Nice work from Mohamed Zahir just to square off those hips, and again, deep inside the guard of Ali Abu Hamda.
Suhair clearly increasing the power now a little bit. May have been holding back in the 2 earlier rounds, so he had plenty of gas left in his tank, but he's letting those hands fly a little bit now.
And again, throwing up that rubber guard, but it's not productive. It's more just a stall. If an amateur, the referee's less inclined to stand it up given the positional control that's being exhibited here by Mohamed Zahir.
Oh,
that's a
Abu
nice
Hamza
shot.
took a shot, was looking behind him previously, looking to see where that fence was, presumably in order to try and bring it back up to standing. That has thus far been denied.
May see him try and work for a triangle. He's obviously shown that he does have incredible dexterity and flexibility, but he needs to put that to good use by perhaps isolating a wrist, trying to stuff that down, work for the triangle, maybe hit a bump sweep. May try and hit the sweep here if he can get the foot on the hips and turn his opponent, but with coming up to almost 30 seconds left in the round, it may be a case of a little bit too little, too late for the Bahrain Warriors, man.
Mohamed Zouhair, I think, is wise to keep the fight up against the fence right now. I think he believes he can keep his opponent stuffed, and with his opponent jammed up against that fence, it does enormously limit the number of attacks that are available from guard.
And if you're Mohamed Zahir, you have to be happy with this type of performance. You've gone in there, you haven't taken any unnecessary risks, you've landed the necessary shots, you've scored the takedowns, established control, and a very, very well-cultured performance from the 17-year-old KHK MMA man.
Martial arts. The entire purpose of amateur MMA is not to win or lose, it's to gain experience. Both fighters gained excellent experience. They also gained excellent experience in overcoming big show jitters.
Well, never a truer statement was made with regards to mixed martial arts, or amateur mixed martial arts, that records are for DJs in situations like this. It's all about, as you say, accumulating as much experience, as much cage time as possible, with a view to progressing into the international tournaments and prospectively even professional. Being entirely honest with you, Carrick, I don't think it's going to take the judges a long time to collate these scores.
30-27?
Yeah.
All right, Brave Nation, what a way to start our historic Brave CF 45. This first bout goes to the judges' scorecards. After 3 rounds, they score. The first judge, 30-27, 29-28, and 30-27. A unanimous victory for the fighter out of the red corner, Mohamed Zahir. Referee is the Bandit, Decky Larkin.
Here we have the tail of the tape. Issa Alamieri, 23 years old, against Edun Ayub, 22 years old. Slight height advantage to Issa Alamieri. The weight is bang on. We are ready to go. The fighters are ready to go. The Bandit, Decky Larkin, is ready to go. And we are off. Edun Ayub takes the center straight away. Trying to get the measure. Both men light on their feet. Wide base exhibited from both men. That's a heavy, heavy leg kick from the Shark. You could say that kick definitely had a little bit of bite in it. Nice pressure work here from Edun Ayub. May look for the trip. May just bump his opponent off the cage and try and get that back trip. But now landing heavy, heavy shots, Carrick.
Phil, Ayub is showing superior strength here. This is, of course, a sport where speed is important, endurance is important, but right now we are seeing the dominance of sheer strength.
Well, as we know, Edun Ayub, a freestyle wrestling champion in his native Lebanon, working hard to get that takedown. Good defense being exhibited here by Issa Alamieri. Great job from Issa Alamieri to get his back off the cage, but Edun Ayub gets him right against the cage again.
Good little giraffe fight going on there.
Oh, beautiful takedown from Ayub. Turned into a takedown of his own just as they hit the ground. Wonderful awareness by the KHK man, Alamieri. And right now he's in the dominant position. Has the hands clasped around the back of Edun Ayub, elevating the hips, making it hard for him to get any kind of purchase. You can see Eldar Eldarov in the corner, a man who's no stranger to top control. Edun Ayub does have a legitimate blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, maybe trying to work for something here. Trying to get back to his feet, intelligently pushing down the head, tried to beat us off. Isa Alamiri saw that and just popped that arm back down of Aidon Ayoub. Right now, Isa Alamiri just trying to establish a little bit of control here. Aidon Ayoub with a foot on the hip, maybe trying to work an angle either to push away or stand back up.
Phil Alamiri needs to show a little more aggression from top.
Nice work from Aidon.
Simply staying on top of your opponent is not enough to get favor from the judges anymore in this sport. We need to see some shots from top by Alamiri.
Momentarily, Aidon Ayoub was able to work up to his feet, but taken right back down by Alamiri. You can see Fakhreddin there calling for shots, trying to soften up his opponent.
Brave Nation, this bout is being held under amateur rules. That's why we're not seeing any elbows to the head here. Nice little knee to the body is legal by Aidon.
Very nice indeed. And a knee on the break. Aidon trying to get that hook just as they exit back to the feet. 10 seconds to go. Can either man land something telling in the closing stanzas? That low leg kick is money for Aidon Ayoub. There you have it.
Phil, nice round from both fighters. I think both of them have lots to be proud of. How'd you like that one? Who'd you like in that round?
Well, especially with regards to amateur mixed martial arts, when you have 3 minutes with which to work, you have to kind of give favor to the guy that's in the dominant position, the top position. So whilst we did see some great work from Aidon Ayoub with the leg kicks, I think if you look at the cumulative time spent on top in the dominant position, you have to give it to Isa Alamiri. As we see, there's a big takedown from Isa Alamiri. Or may he even try offensively to work for the takedown himself. All to play for going into the second round.
Cage door locked. Round 2 is on. Woo!
That
Nice
low leg kick
from
works
the shark.
exquisitely. That low leg kick is working exquisitely for Aidon Ayoub. I'd like to see him set it up a little bit more with the hands instead of just going for the single shots every time.
Phil, I think we're going to see him alternate. Having landed those 2 kicks, I think he's going to try and land a shot to the head next.
Go low a couple of times and then go high. I'd like, as we said, really cuts across beautifully. Ducks underneath for the takedown. Isa Alamiri does have an underhook. But just you see that relentless strength from Aidon Ayoub, forcing Isa Alamiri against the cage.
These aggressive takedown attempts, Phil, are difficult. They are tough on the conditioning. The body's bent forward, the abdomen is compressed. Back take.
Let's see what kind of work Aidon Ayoub can do from here. Isa Alamiri does the right thing by swimming over for that overhook. May try and clamp down on that a la Wizard style.
Phil, I'm loving I'm loving the giraffe game going on here as the 2 fighters fight with their head and level change, back take.
This is
takedown maybe close.
This is a real war of attrition with regards to the takedown. You can see Isa Alamiri right now trying to take the back, may try and get the trip, but every time he does that, Isa Alamiri intelligently reaches over and swims over to the top. Big takedown. That's absolutely huge for Aidon Ayoub. What kind of work can he do from top position here? May try and take the back, has 1 hook in, he's a little bit high, has the 2nd hook in. This is huge for the Shark, and this is definitely deep water for Isa Alamiri to be swimming in.
Phil, I thought the Shark was going to slip and end up in guard, but he's not. He's beginning to flatten his opponent out.
And he may
force the legs back. There, he did it.
Oh, flattens him right out.
Opponent is flat.
And now takes the mount position, again transitions to the back. Can he get the hands connected for the guillotine choke? And it's really a pick your poison from this type of position. Needs to be wary of hitting the back of the head.
Phil, I've been told by intelligent sources that Aidon's jiu-jitsu level is equivalent to that of a brown belt, and that is exactly what I'm seeing in front of us in the Brave Combat Federation cage.
Just seamlessly transitioning from the mount to taking the back. Needs to be wary of the armbar. Aidon Ayoub working for that armbar. Can he get extension on the hips? Is the top. Aidon Ayoub with an absolutely huge win. Comes in, gets the armbar. Outstanding positional control. The Shark showing his teeth showing his aggression, getting the armbar win. Fantastic for Adon, the Shark Ayub.
Sportsmanship that good all the time. Ladies and gentlemen of Brave Nation, that was the opposite fighter's corner giving him water. Nice little touch. No question about who ended that one or when. But the Roaring Lion of Brave, Carlos Kramer, has entered the cage to make it official. Fighters are getting lined up by Decky Larkin. Camera is lining up. Seconds away from making it official. And it's on.
All right, Brave Nation, this second battle, another historic fight in our Brave CF 45 card. This comes to an end at 2 minutes and 34 seconds of the very second round. Your winner by armbar, Adon the Shark Ayub!
Third man in the middle, one of the best in the business, head of regulatory affairs, Decky Larkin. Quick look at the tail of the tape, 24 versus 25 respectively. Height advantage goes to Badakshi, wrestling advantage goes to Magomedov. Let's get things kicking off. Wide stance being implemented by Badakshi, almost as if he knows that the takedown is coming from Magomedov.
Excellent linear skills and circular skills so far from Badakshi. He's got to keep that up, but I'd like to see him be a little less distinct with it. Woo! Spin kick attempt.
Badakshi does have an exciting, dynamic repertoire of strikes. Let's see if he can call upon those. I think in a situation like this, it's intelligent to work off the hands to begin with. There's that duck under, big takedown from the Dagestan man. And this is exactly where he wants the fight to take place. And this is really where he does some of his most profound work, Kirik. Just sitting inside the guard. As I say, happy to sit inside the guard, happy to sit inside that anchor position of the half guard and go to town from there. Transition seamlessly into the half guard, working to get side control. Nice work from Badakshi.
Excellent regard from Badakshi. Indeed, he's got a tight overhook on one side. He's obviously hooking that arm, and he's going to be trying to set up elbows to the head, potentially with the intent of causing cuts.
And essentially, what does Badakshi need to do in a situation like this to get the hip-heavy dominant wrestler away from him, Kirik?
He's actually doing a really good job. He needs to control the wrestler's head so the wrestler cannot posture back and get the leverage and distance and momentum he needs to throw a knockout shot. Excellent job by our man from Afghanistan on bottom thus far.
And that's a nice little bit of head control from Ahmed Magomedov. Obviously, headbutts are illegal in mixed martial arts, but you can use it as almost a lever to control your opponent because where the head goes, the body inevitably follows.
I think, Phil, he's also keeping that head in tight to prevent those downward elbows from the bottom. If you keep your head tight to your opponent, the elbow no longer works. It no longer hits with that sharp point of the elbow. Instead, hits with the lower tricep. Big shot from top.
Big shot, but actually trying to get back to his feet. And beautiful. He has the wrist there. Magomedov sees the wrist, just pops that down. Badakshi holding on to the cage. Referee Decky Larkin with a stern, authoritative warning. And there we may see him just grab that wrist again, but actually trying to use that wrist to get the base. Lovely little trip, and it shows just that there are levels to wrestling and mixed martial arts, and inevitably, if you are from Dagestan, you train at a club called KHK MMA Dagestan, you know what you're doing when it comes to wrestling.
Interesting little exchange there. The Afghan Lion almost made it up to standing, went for a victory roll, a rolling knee lock. It was denied. They're right back where they began.
Halfway point of the opening round, and Ahmed Magomedov is very much having it all his way. Extensive wrestling background, extensive Sambo background, a former silver medalist in both the European and World Combat Sambo Games. And for those who may not know, Sambo is essentially mixed martial arts in a gi and headgear.
Also want to say, Phil, we're seeing very impressive fighters coming out of Afghanistan. There's a widespread belief that the top fighters in MMA all come from your Brazils, from your USAs, from your Russias. But just 2 weeks ago at Combat Kingdom 4, we saw Rahmatullah Yousafzai come out against a formerly undefeated IMF champ making his pro debut and knocked him out in seconds. Just wanted to throw that out there. I am impressed by the Afghan Lion so far, although he is not ahead.
Second grab of the fence there from Badakshi. Referee Deki Larkin, should it happen a third time, could potentially give a stern warning or take a point. And a lot of the time the cage grab isn't necessarily done with intent to cheat. It's more done out of desperation, Kirik, just because you feel it's your only option.
Abdulazim wants to get back up to stand. He's doing everything everything within his power to get there. Thus far, he has been denied.
He's trying to get that arm up to post again. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Ahmed Magomedov just scoop that wrist out.
And he's up.
Badakshi does a great job to get back to his feet. But Ahmed Magomedov, like
Afghan Lion's got an underhook now. He may be able to stay in his feet. If he can, and down again.
and that must just be so frustrating for Badakshi to expel all that energy to work to get to his feet just for Magomedov to take him down again.
It's extremely high-level fighting for Magomedov. He's not going after any one single thing. He's got a general strategy of trying to get his opponent down the ground, stay on top, doesn't particularly care how he gets there,
Nice
takes it down
elbow.
how it's presented to him, and then, then he goes to work with the short, sharp shots and the elbows.
And what I like so much about Ahmed Magomedov is he doesn't do anything that's unnecessary. He doesn't take any flagrant risks that could put him in potentially a dangerous position. He works from point A to point B to point C. It's methodical, it's measured, it's calculated. Just again finishing off in that anchor position, and if I'm Badakshi right now, I'm getting up and I'm tired.
Energy and starts sucking his opponents away. Gotta say though, they both look a little bit, they both look like they just fought for 5 minutes, let's put it that way.
I think potentially what you could even see in the second round is Ahmed Magomedov opening up with the hands a little bit, because Badakshi now will be so acutely aware of the takedown threat, which could leave him vulnerable to the striking game of Ahmed Magomedov.
My sense, Phil, yes, is that Magomedov held back just a little bit in round one, and he's going to let it go now.
Eldar Eldarov giving final instructions to Ahmed Magomedov. Deki Larkin clears the cage in the most eloquent way that only he can. The bandit takes no prisoners whatsoever. Second round, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Combat Kingdom opening pro bout.
Intensity's about to increase, and there it was. Flying knee from the Afghan Lion.
And does a good job to defend, but as a Dagestani often does, gets the fight against the cage, leaves his opponent no space with which to go backwards, and works for the takedown from here. Has the underhook on both sides, may look to just bounce off, and there's a beautiful trip takedown. Sorry, I did say he had the underhook on both sides. It was just one side, but that just shows the clasp and grip of Magomedov.
Abdulazim landed a couple of effective elbows from bottom. Now getting smothered a bit.
Covering the face of Badakshi. Little bit of a veteran move there. Not necessarily courteous, but entirely legal. Landing beautiful little pot shot elbow there. Clamps down on the whizzer. And like I say, it's just a methodical, calculated approach from Ahmed Magomedov. Bringing Badakshi against the cage to try and compress the body further. And again, just rolls the wrist, lands the takedown. May give Badakshi just enough space with which to try and work up a little bit, expel that energy, and then just pop him right back down to his feet. Magomedov again just solidifying that positional control by elevating the hips of Badakshi, meaning that he can't really get any purchase with which to move.
Ladies and gentlemen of Brave Nation, if Ahmed postured back and threw a large number of shots, it would give his opponent the ability to scoot up almost immediately. So he's biding his time. He's playing a very careful, very intelligent game. Lots of top pressure and just the occasional shot momentarily before he reapplies that iron-like pressure.
May just pop the leg down of his opponent and step over into the half guard. And you can see he just elevates the leg as well, thus elevating the hips above the head. Gives Badakshi enough space just to work up, and another takedown does feel inevitable from this point, Kirik. Nice little short elbows into the thighs.
Badakshi has the hips turned as he should. He's got a tight whizzer, but he needs one more control point,
And
or that's exactly what's
takedown.
going to happen.
Ahmed Magomedov stepping through just casually into the half guard.
Badakshi has shown good skills reguarding previously. He's got his hips free on the far side. We're probably going to see him reguard as we did right there.
And again, with that head control, just pins it underneath the chin of Badakshi. Badakshi trying desperately to push the hip down or push the leg down of Ahmed Magomedov to continue to work to re-guard.
Phil, I'd like to see that muffler attempt from top by Ahmed Magomedov. He covered the mouth with a hand, and when his opponent tried to push it away, he switched it to an elbow. Very slick technique. It did work for him. I'd like to see it again.
And you can see Ahmed Magomedov turning up the intensity ever so slightly. He's elevating his body just a little bit now to get some more purchase and power into that ground and pound that he's landing, as opposed to being all the way down. Working some nice body-head combinations here. And it all adds up. It's almost Tito Ortiz like of old. Just sit inside the guard, have half that can opener with the hand, and just use that to land big strikes, big ground and pound.
Badakshi is using his guard properly. One of the central purposes of guard is to control how far away or how close your opponent is. Badakshi is effectively doing that. He's pushing his opponent back and pulling him in. He's not always successful. At moments when he's able to create a little bit of space, he is landing some downward elbows, and right there you saw him actually pull his opponent in close so that shot from top was not effective.
Nice work from Magomedov. He elevates gets up from the knee to the legs, just to try and get a little bit more on those shots. And as we say, it's methodical, it's calculated, it's essentially Dagestani MMA in a nutshell. Referee Degi Larkin calling for a little bit more work. And again, Badakshi trying everything he can to get back to the feet. Magomedov just has that arm around the back, clasped to the hip of Badakshi, keeping him nice and close. And this is bound to be an incredibly frustrating fight for Badakshi.
For those of you wondering why Magomedov doesn't posture back a little more and land bigger shots, we saw an example of it there. He postured back an inch and a half too far. His opponent got a foot there, almost kicked him back, and was allowed to pop back up to standing.
And Kirik, I guess the question has to be asked in the closing stanzas of that round. Could you make the argument for, given the current scoring criteria, could you make the argument for a 10-8 round there?
Phil, it's a great question, and I don't think that round quite reached even the new standard for a 10-8, which is much more generous than it used to be. It was a dominating round for the Russian, but we did not see a very great deal of damage in that round. There was a lot of positional control, but that too is no longer given paid attention as much as it was in the past. I call this one 10-9 again, pushing this round to 2018 for Ahmed Magomedov.
There you see just the wrestling prowess from the KHK Dagestan man. And if you're in the corner of Ahmed Magomedov, are you just saying more of the same?
Rinse, repeat.
Third and final round of what's proving to be a dominant performance for Ahmed Magomedov. And right now he does look like much. Right now he does look like much the fresher. Threatening Badakshi did there, just feinting with the uppercut. Big overhand.
There it was!
And that's the thing, when you commit to those heavy strikes, you do leave yourself vulnerable to the takedown. And that's what we've just seen. Elbows from the bottom from Badakshi. He's doing everything he can to try and get out of this position because he knows he cannot stay here for the remaining 4 minutes, 30 seconds of the third and final round.
Phil, we can hear those elbows land from here, even through our headset. Some of those elbows that the Afghan Lion has thrown are landing hard. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Sounds like a hard drum.
Ladies and gentlemen, that might be the first time you have heard the words bonk, bonk, bonk used in a mixed martial arts bout. You can say I was there, you can say I heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, the OG of mixed martial arts, Mr. Kirik Janess.
Bonk, bonk, baby.
Eldar Eldorov in the corner. Not a lot of work for Eldar to do in this fight. Just let Ahmed Magomedov do his thing. Again, beautiful wrist control, which is a real hallmark of Dagestani fighters. Establish that wrist control. Sitting inside the guard now, may try and transition into the half guard, but Ahmed Magomedov will do it very much at his own pace. Elevating the legs of his opponent. And again, just takes that wrist away, thus taking away one of the bases Badakshi would use to try and scramble back to his feet. And right now you're just going to see Ahmed Magomedov perhaps take Badakshi off the cage a little bit A little bit of a shoulder bump there, right to the jaw.
Phil, we do want to see Magomedov do more than simply maintain that top position. We want to see him either try and further position, go for a submission, or land shots. We know he can get his opponent on the ground, but this is mixed martial arts, not wrestling. He's got to do a little bit more with it than those little shots we saw right there.
And this is telling from Budakshi. He's flat backing right now. Both shoulders are on the mat. He's taking a deep breath, and he really is cutting a little bit of a forlorn figure right now, Kirik.
He is, but Phil, he's also collecting himself. He knows he's got a limited amount of energy. He's got a limited amount of time. He's trying to gather what energy he's got left, and he's going to try and explode back up to standing. If he succeeds in getting up to standing, we're going to see one more huge flurry KO attempt from him.
So the question really has to be asked. Well, I suppose it's two questions really, Kirik. Does he have enough in the tank to get back to the feet? And should he do that, does he have enough to land that one quitter hitter home run shot?
It's the shot he's got, and I think he's going to take it, but he does have Ahmed Magomedov on top of him, who is an incredibly dominant force.
Ahmed Magomedov showing his MMA intelligence by doing just enough to keep busy, to look aesthetically like he's working, so Deggy Larkin does not stand them up. Just rolls the wrist out here, landing those little pot shot hammer fists, almost mini hammer fists, if you will. Bunk, 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 as my broadcast partner would say. As we say, just landing those little shots. And a minute 30 to go. If you're Budakshi, you really just have to go for broke now, don't you? You have to use every little ounce of energy that you have, explode as much as you can, but given what he's had to endure in rounds 1 and 2 and the first stanza of round 3, does he have enough in the tank?
I think right now he may not, Phil. When you see a fighter flat on his back, he's not in half guard. He's in half mount. He's mounted right now. In order to make guard effective, you've got to be on your side, and you really have to have an underhook. Right now, flat on his back, he's not in full mount where his opponent can rain down without stopping, but he's not that far off there either.
Budakshi keeps leaving an arm up there as if it's almost telegraphing the head-arm triangle. If Ahmed Magomedov becomes aware of that and can finish off, he would add to his already impressive 4 submissions in 6 victories, but right now he seems to be happy just to ride the crest of this wave. And with 30 seconds to go, as we've said, no unnecessary risks need to be taken by the KHK Dagestan man.
In Magomedov's defense, he is fighting very intelligently. Took some hard shots from bottom, so he's keeping his head so close to his opponent's head that those elbows are no longer effective. That, of course, means he no longer has the leverage to throw very, very powerful shots from on top, but he doesn't have to. We've got 10 seconds left.
Ahmed Magomedov on way to his 7th win as a professional mixed martial artist. Very much for our money, remains unbeaten. Offensive wrestling of Ahmed Magomedov.
Little look at the Green Hill replay. This was basically the story of this fight. The Afghan Lion would attempt to throw a significant shot from standing and would get taken down for his trouble, would try to come up to standing, but was never fully able to do so in the entire 15-minute contest. Phil, I do believe this one's going to be 30-27. He was not able to win tonight, but to my eye, he looked good. He looked like a really, really good professional fighter. Wide range of skills, standing, excellent guard. However, he had Ahmed Magomedov from KHK Dagestan on top of him, and it wasn't enough.
Carlos Kramer's in the cage, which means we're going to make this official. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Carlos Kramer.
All right, Brave Nation, another incredible battle inside the Brave CF 45 cage. This one goes all 3 rounds, and the judges score 30-27. Each judge for a unanimous decision victory. From KHK MMA Dagestan, Russia, Ahmed Magomedov.
Pretty much a formality reading out those scores.
Big question, Phil. Is Talha going to try to wrestle, or is he going to try and test his opponent standing? He can obviously do both with great skill, but what's he going to try and choose to do?
Well, I think he's going to stand for a little bit. I think he's going to try and potentially use those strikes to set up the takedown. 12-0 as an amateur, but does have 6 wins by way of finish due to those heavy hands. And especially with those little 4-ounce gloves, you could see him land a big overhand right early on. Nice lead hook. You can see Vadim Litvin trying to measure him up for that straight. Nice lateral movement being implemented here by Vadim Litvin, trying to keep Mortaza at the end of his punches.
Phil, Vadim is using, there it was. Vadim was using that jab to try and control the distance between he and his opponent in order to set up a high kick.
There he is, fakes the overhand into the takedown. Beautiful combination. Has the hands connected, may take Vadim for a big ride here. Vadim doing a good job to stay on his feet thus far.
Phil, that was one of the signature exchanges in mixed martial arts. You take an opponent partly down, he goes up to standing, but in going up to standing, you take his back. He ends up in an even worse position.
Vadim Litvin trying to reach over for that overhook, may try and sweep and scoop underneath there for the underhook, but right now doing a very respectable job of keeping the fight on the feet. Nice little pot shot there from Litvin. Change of levels and an ankle pick from Mortaza. There's the takedown. Litvin doing everything he can to try and work back to his feet. Mortaza sticking to him like glue. Has one hook in.
Litvin expertly avoided that hook. Could have been halfway to the end if that hook had been successful. But Mortaza Talha is not giving up at positional dominance.
And as we've said before, an incredibly dominant amateur mixed martial artist. It'll be interesting to see how he works with his energy, how economic he can be with his energy, given that he's used to fighting 3-minute rounds and he's now competing in a 5-minute round fight.
I've seen Talha in training, Phil, and he is an intense beast. I don't think 5-minute rounds are going to pose a problem for him.
Just trying to soften up Litvin here with knees. Has a hold of that ankle, may just try and pop that out, scoop that out from underneath his opponent. So some nice takedown defense being exhibited here by Vadim.
Absolutely. This is a top-flight professional mixed martial arts fighter. Oh, Phil, those knees are punishing.
And every time that Litvin tries to establish a little bit of a base, it's kicked out from underneath him by Talha. You can tell that these shots are now starting to cause effect because Litvin was trying to reach back and block them a little bit.
Phil, this is the kind of wrestling pressure that I like to see. In the previous fight, Ahmed Magomedov was doing enough to keep it on the ground or enough to keep it against the fence, but was not trying to cause damage. What you're seeing in Mortaza Talha is a fighter trying to cause damage with those knees and punches.
Yeah, there's no such thing as little sort of tiny pot shots with Mortaza. Everything he throws has the intention to cause harm. Again, nice steps over the legs, but you have to be impressed with the takedown defense and the ability of Vadim Litvin to, when he's in those difficult positions, to work back to his feet.
Part of that, Phil, is a testament to his core strength and also his limb length. He's a very tall fighter, posting down on those hands. He can do a better job than could a shorter fighter at keeping it standing.
The Fight Club Belarus product, more than showing just how capable he is, coming in the role of spoiler to try and spoil the party, the debutante voyage of Mortaza Talha.
Let me say, Phil, once more, Mortaza Talha throws every shot with bad intentions, and I am impressed. He finally got that takedown he's looking for. Let's see how his ground and pound is.
Oh, it's a beautiful short elbow from the bottom from Vadim, and Mortaza just trying to work right now, but back to his feet. Not
Phil,
an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination here for Mortaza Talha.
Vadim needs, there he goes. He needs a little bit more space behind him. Doesn't want to get that. He does not want to have happen what just happened.
And because he was caught rushing in a little bit there, trying to force the action, to push the action just a little bit, he got caught. Mortaza Talha has one hook in, has 20 seconds with which to work. may just be a little bit beyond him right now.
Long limbs. Vadim Litvin being used to good effect.
Trying to go for that short choke, but just doesn't have enough time to get it in. Instead decides to land some heavy, heavy leather.
Fantastic round for the man from Bahrain. Phil.
Yeah, I'd say 10-9 just based again on the positional control from Murtaza Talha, closing the distance, closing his man down, initiating the clinch, and pretty much working from there. I think it was 2 clean takedowns he scored, and then finishes the round very, very strong. Murtaza Talha showing that he very much deserves to be within the pro ranks here in Brave Combat Federation.
Brave.
Took a little bit longer to get off his stool there, so Murtaza chose not to take it at all. Perhaps a little bit of psychological warfare being implemented already. Cage door closed. Referee Dickey the Bandit Larkin ready to get us going here, and we are off. Nice show of respect from both men.
Hug.
Murtaza changing levels again, clubbing forward. You just get the sense that if Murtaza were to land with one of those shots, that's a huge inside leg kick.
Vadim Litvin showing you what leverage can do on a lower limb.
Oh, huge barrage of punches there.
Litvin took damage. Philly's hurt.
Another big clinch initiated, end of the takedown, and could this be the slow demise of Vadim Litvin? Because as you say, he did look to be ever so slightly compromised by that barrage of punches from Murtaza Talha.
Phil, I've never been hit by Talha, but I have seen him hit a lot of people. I've seen him hit a lot of pads, and that is concussive force.
He may try and work to get a hook in here. And
Vadim was looking at his hand to see if he was bleeding. He's not, but he took a huge shot.
big knees being landed into the meat of the thigh from Murtaza Talha. And again, just establishing the position. May step over and sink in a hook. There it is. Beautiful work to flatten out his opponent.
Phil, we had talked earlier how if Vadim Litvin was going to win this fight, he had to use his footwork to keep it distance. But those knees to the thighs are compromising that ability. Very smart technique from Murtaza Talha.
Right now, this is a position he does not want to be in because he's being forced now to carry all 95 kilograms of Murtaza Talha. And you can even hear from Murtaza Talha that he's not just popping these knees in, he's throwing everything into them. Just slowly, systematically breaking down his opponent. Again,
Phil, there are fighters that play the game, and there are fighters that spend every second of every round trying to end it. That is Murtaza Talha. Every shot he throws, he hopes is going to end the fight.
Beautifully ties up those legs a la Khabib Nurmagomedov, and from here just happy to go to work, happy to land strikes to keep himself honest. Vadim Litvin looking up at Dickey Larkin, a little bit of a veteran move to try and initiate the stand-up, but Dickey cannot be moved or swayed in that regard.
Vadim Litvin definitely throwing enough heavy, damaging shots to be able to keep the fight here if he so chooses.
In the mount position now to the back
mount,
take.
Phil.
One hook in, two hooks in. This could be the beginning of the end. We saw just how close Murtaza got with the rear naked choke in the closing stances of the first round.
In.
That looks like it. That's in deep.
The arms are in.
We're looking at the tap. This is the beginning of the end.
Moments away.
Serious squeeze. There's the tap. 1-0 in his professional career. Is the Ginger Gorilla. Is Murtaza Talha. Welcome.
Murtaza Talha!
This young man. Look at that squeeze. Those bicep rip with the rear naked choke. And
That choke was brutal, Phil. The pressure wasn't on the carotid arteries on the side. It was on the throat. It was a larynx. It was a larynx choke. That is an absolutely brutal submission.
proudly representing Bahrain. Murtaza Talha gets the win. Carlos Kramer's about to make it official. What a performance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible battle and amazing debut. This one comes to an end at 3 minutes of the very second round. Your winner by rear naked choke from KHK MMA, Murtaza Talha. Decky Larkin.
Tail of the tape, both men 25 or younger, and Kuse 25, Zaya 24. And Kuse pretty chilled out, was even hints of the floss there as he was getting started. And as we say, every time we've seen this young man, it's a beautiful pop jab, and every time we've seen in Kuse, he's got better, but what a kick from Mashwani. Both men earning the respect of one another, and Kuse with the jabs, Mashwani with those beautiful leg kicks. And
Mashwani Warrior pressing, and Cozy moving back in a circle, trying to get distance. Now we're going to have a look at their wrestling, Phil.
nice work
And
so
they
far.
separate.
Good work from Nkose to disengage with that clinch. As we say, training with Coach Attila, his wrestling game's only going to get better, but when you have somebody who's pretty much been wrestling since birth in Mashwani, it's very, very difficult to try and go toe-to-toe in the wrestling realm.
Mashwani Warrior, back body lock, succeeded in driving his opponent to the knees. Hard to take a man down in the sport, harder to keep him there.
And you can see, yes, Nkose may be the longer ranger fighter, but Mashwani definitely the more compact, thicker tree stump, Tolkien style fighter.
Phil, odds makers liked Ndebele in this fight, but Mashwani Warrior is showing that he absolutely is in this to win it.
And as we say, in sports like boxing, you know, young prospects like this wouldn't even consider fighting each other for between 5 and 10 years, but mixed martial arts is a completely different animal where the best consistently fight the best, and that's what you're getting here at Brave Combat Federation 45. Nice work from Nkose to get back up, but Mashwani, dog with a bone, gets the takedown. And Nkose, as soon as his back touches the ground, back up to his feet. Wonderful developments in the young man's game.
Absolutely. At this point a year ago, we would have seen Nkose Ndebele on his back trying to hold on. Now we're seeing him doing what he wants to do. It is, Phil, going to take him a little while to get his rhythm going. It always does, but once he gets it going, boy, when it's on, it's something special.
Showing a nice little diversity of strikes, and that was a very aggressive shooing kick from Mashwani. Nice head movement and rolling work from Nkose, who looks like he's starting to find his groove a little bit, as you alluded to, Keurig. Lateral movement and beautiful stiff jab. And Nkose starting to turn it up just a little bit. Will Mashwani close the distance for the takedown? Nice work from Nkose again, showing those developments in his game. Oh, knee attempt, just shy with it.
Phil, that could have been it right there.
Mashwani in on a deep, deep single, made switch and transition down to the left ankle.
Coach Ali was there reminding his fighter, Mashwani Warrior, keep his head position.
Oh, beautiful elbows to the side of the head from Nkose.
That's exactly what the coach warned him about.
Oh, they are huge.
Coach wanted that head just a little bit higher. Move the head up just a little bit, and that point of the elbow can no longer land
And again,
the way it is now.
he's opened up Mashwani with those elbows. How could he not? There was about 6 or 7 there.
Big props. Coach Ali saw that one coming, warned his fighter in the heat of the action. Mashwani Warrior didn't hear it or chose a different path, and he is paying a price for that now.
A cut may just be in and around the top of the head of Mashwani, and it's starting to leak a little bit there.
Over and again, Phil, I'm asked for one piece of advice that you can give to fighters, and it's a simple one. Listen to your coach.
Yeah, Mashwani really is starting to leak now like an umbrella with a hole in it. Nice work from Nkose to change the position, and I
believe the doctor may be called in to have a look at the cut. Again, fighter health and safety is paramount always in Brave Combat Federation.
Just having a little bit of a look at the cut, and it doesn't seem to be impeding the vision right now. It seems to be more in the hairline than it does directly above the eye, but you can see, yeah, that's a deep cut. Decky Larkin just making sure with the doctors, and if you're Nkose and Ndebele, do you target that cut now?
You do. You start trying to circle towards it, land a jab. If your opponent goes in for a takedown again, which is almost sure to happen, you try that elbow again. Mashwani Warrior trying to land that right low kick.
Trying to land that big overhand, but just a little bit too cclose. Oh, beautiful 1-2.
Staggered.
Kose
Mashwani Warrior
diving
is staggered.
in. He smells blood. The one is a head kick, drops
again.
him. Referee taking
now.
taking a long, hard look at this. Beautiful strikes being followed up here by Nkose.
Mashwani Warrior back to his feet.
Oh, crushing elbow again from Nkose. How much can Zaya take of this punishment? Knee to the head. Oh, Mashwani's out on his feet. That's
Showtime
it.
now.
All
Decky
over.
Larkin has stopped the fight. Mashwani has stopped.
May just have become the president.
Oh, Phil, what a moment that was. That is power. That is raw power. Boom! The fighter goes down again. And then a barrage of shots to the head. Knee to the head. Everything but the kitchen sink. Great call when just seconds later, Decky Larkin stepped it in. Ended it.
All right, Brave Nation, what an incredible and exciting bout that was. This comes to an end at 4 minutes and 29 seconds of the very first round. Referee Decky Larkin stops about TKO due to strikes for the future Nkose and Belly. Your referee in charge is the Bandit, Decky Larkin.
Phil, huge props to Vagiv. A call went out worldwide. He stepped up. His flight was canceled. We got him on a second flight. He arrived in the early hours this morning. Big respect to this man, and it is on.
Abdi Salam pointed to the middle of the cage during the introduction from the Roaring Lion as if to say, this is where we will meet, this is where I want you, and here he goes. As we say, 9 wins by KO or TKO, has dynamite in his hands, completely separated João Paulo Rodriguez from his senses in his last outing. Aesthetically looks to be the much bigger man.
Vagiv, Phil, is a very fast fighter. He cannot match power for power with Omak, however. Vagiv needs a little bit more space behind him. He needs a little space to back up if necessary, or that's what happens.
Spinning back fist attempt. Abdi Salam began his career with 3 straight submission wins, and that was in January of 2016, but since then has fallen in love with the striking. As we say, accrued 9 wins via KO or TKO.
Incredible single attempt by Vagiv. Ho! Superman attempt off the cage into a low double.
And now Abdi Salam trying to get the hooks in, has one hook in. Into the side control position, and he seems to be happy here just to push down on the knee of Vagiv and perhaps transition, but good work from Askarov to try and get that guard back.
Vagiv has now closed that guard. He's got an overhook in the arm. He probably is going to try and control his opponent's head now. At that point, he can start to work to take the back, to sweep, to wait for a stand-up, to throw some strikes, but the first order of business is keeping himself safe. Thus far, he has accomplished exactly that.
Just trying to roll that wrist out, trying to get away from that grip. It needs to be wary of the elevation of the hips. Askarov looked as if he was going for an armbar on the wrong side there. And right now you may just see Abdi Salam posture up and try and get off some strikes.
Phil, we've seen Omak in positions before where it appeared that he might be getting submitted, but he's got a brilliant sense of the centimeters that leave him at a point of safety or a point of danger. He really always keeps himself safe.
Askarov has that knee shield. He's trying to get onto a hip. He's trying to shrimp out, but as a result, he had some nasty elbows there. Again, Abdi Salam just trying to free his wrists and then land some ground and pound.
Omak may be looking to attack the ribs for a while now. Head's well covered. Vagiv doing an excellent job of covering that head.
May try and switch for
choke coming.
May try and switch for the darts. Has the bicep grip. May roll onto his shoulder and try and hook a leg. Abandons it. Didn't quite feel comfortable with it. May see Askarov try and roll out of this position.
Phil, I've seen Vagiv move very explosively. Maybe setting up a victory roll at this point. Maybe trying to explode to standing.
Hook in by Abdisalam. Second hook in, may flatten out his guy, and from here it could be the rear naked choke, but transitions into the mount. Some well-placed strikes. That's a huge elbow. Just cutting through the guard right now.
Larkin is watching carefully.
That's huge ground and pound. Gives up the back again. Huge
Decky's
strikes.
talking to the fighter. Decky needs to see intelligent defense from Vagiv Askarov.
And the mouthpiece is out.
Big
That's
shots
the end
landing.
of it. No need.
Decky stops it.
No need for Askarov to take any unnecessary punishment. He earns our respect by virtue of the fact he took the fight. But Abdisalam Kubanizcek showing just what a dominant force he is, not just in the landscape of Kyrgyzstan MMA, but now in global.
Tended to by a world-class cadre, an MD, one of the best boxing coaches in the world. We've got Jess the Cup man there.
There you see
great hands.
There you see the beginning of the end. The mouthpiece comes out, he gets flattened out, he eats huge shots. Referee Decky Larkin sees that there's no need for him to take any more unnecessary punishment, calls a halt to the action. Your winner by first round TKO, extending his winning streak to 8, is Abdisalam Ulu Kubanizcek.
All right, Brave Nation, what an explosive bout in the Brave CF 45 cage. This one comes to an end at 3 minutes and 33 seconds of the very first round. Referee Decky Larkin stops about TKO due to strikes for your winner, Abdisalam Ulu Omuk Kubanizcek. Your referee in charge is the Bandit, Decky Larkin.
Phil, you gotta love Zvonimir. He was actually clapping for his opponent.
Well, that's the mark of just how good a human being Zvonimir is. But when that cage door closes, there are no friends. There are simply two fighters trying to rise to prominence at light heavyweight in Brave Combat Federation.
Now, Malem is built like a comic book character, but he does have endurance. We saw him go the distance with a Black Hulk. He is fully prepared to go 3x5 right here.
Zvonimir does have nasty leg kicks outside and inside. He uses them to debilitate his opponent. Spinning heel kick attempt by the Croatian sensation. Trying to show a little bit of diversity here. Has to do that to us. A beautiful straight from Zvonimir. Trying to keep his opponent guessing by mixing up the levels of his strikes, the frequency of his strikes, up and down, hands and feet. Doing a great job right now, putting everything together as Zvonimir Kral. There's only so many of those leg kicks that Mohammed Saeed Malem can take.
Brave Nation, this is exactly what high-level mixed martial arts striking is supposed to look like. Mix up looping shots, straight shots, shots to the calf, shots to the thigh, shots to the body, shots to the head with the hands and the feet. This is what mixed martial arts striking is. You saw a little shift into a liver kick.
Mohammed Saeed Malem needs to start checking some of those kicks. There's only so many you can take of them, and Zvonimir just turning the hip over beautifully. That's beautiful kickboxing. What I love that he's doing is he's almost sweeping at the calf and then following up with straights.
L'Ambiance trying to get in the game, trying to find his rhythm. Hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Could we see a takedown here from Zvonimir? What a coup that would be from Zvonimir Kral, taking down the Algerian national wrestling champion. Shaken off by Mohammed Saeed Malem.
Phil, that was the 5th calf kick to land.
There's
another 2 or 3, and the legs just will not be there anymore.
Oh, that's a beautiful straight again from Zvonimir. He looks like he's really starting to find his groove in there. Can see some reddening up on the calf of Mohammed Saeed Malem. Beautiful distance management here by Zvonimir, who's having perhaps the best performance.
Malem landing now.
Zvonimir needs to get his back off the cage here. Oh, jump knee. Oh, another big kick to the midsection. Oh, Zvonimir's really starting to hurt him. Can Zvonimir defend the takedown? Double underhooks established here by Mohammed Saeed Malem. Potential
Depending
for the
on what
trip
happens
takedown.
here, it's a huge moment in this fight.
Oh, beautiful work. We're using the wizard to get back to his feet and defend the takedown as Zvonimir Kral. Midway point of the first round, and so far it's been very much all Zvonimir Kral with his striking.
It has, but we're now getting a look at a different aspect of the game. The fight up against the fence. All those beautifully, perfectly timed and set up long shots from the outside are no longer an issue. Decky Larkin wants a little more action. He'd better get it.
Zvonimir may just be happy to stall in this position to elicit that break from the referee, who is calling for more action.
Zvonimir needs to let those hands go a little bit, or that will happen.
And this is more than advantageous for Zvonimir. That's exactly what he wants. May look to attack that calf again, go inside and outside with the leg kicks. And as I say, Mohammed Saeed Malem not really offering anything in the way of defense with those, but now these boys are exchanging in a firefight, biting down on the gum shield. Short uppercut by Lambiance, who then eats a shot from Kral. Oh, he caught him with a big shot there. Zvonimir's been hurt.
Maybe down. Decky is seconds away from stopping this fight.
What has Zvonimir got left? He needs to roll. He needs to get out of that position. Referee Decky Larkin took a long, hard look at it. Minute left here. And that's it. Mohammed Saeed Malem.
Lambiance is victorious.
Completely. How powerful he truly is. But as I say, completely changing the tide of that fight. He was en route to losing the round 10-9 and showed his power, showed his heart as well as determination. Uncorks a huge shot.
Phil, this is mixed martial arts, a sport in which anything can and will happen. But in the heavyweights, it's that times 10. Anything can happen, as we just saw.
And I'd like to see the shot that actually wobbled Zvonimir, not just the end as we're seeing now. If the guys in the truck could show us the beginning of the end, I'd like to see that as opposed to just the end here.
What Decky saw there was a fighter not intelligently defending himself and in danger. Zvonimir lifts his opponent's hand up in center cage, Brave Nation, showing the extraordinary sportsmanship that he's known for, whether he wins or loses.
As I say, we've seen the end there twice. I'd like to see the shot that actually started the process and wobbled Zvonimir, if we could, please, guys.
All right, Brave Nation, what an incredible co-main event we had. This comes to an end at 3 minutes and 50 seconds of the very first round. Referee Decky Larkin stops about TKO due to strikes. And your winner, Mohammed Lambiance Saeed Malem.
All right, gentlemen, you've been over the rules. This is my instructions all time. Protect yourself at all times. Hook him up and let's get this done.
Referee instructions by the man himself, Decky the Bandit Larkin. There will be no glove touch to initiate. And I think, Carrick, we are going to get off to a frenetic pace. Ian Entwistle biting at the bit to get in there after an absence out of the cage for over 4
Brave Nation,
years.
don't look down.
Oh, he caught him with a shot. As we predicted, a fast start and drops down, may go for the heel. That wasn't a takedown, that was a guard pull by Ian Entwistle. Trying to work for the heel, there it is!
There it is, it's locked. Phil.
Oh, that looks tight. He's trying to get...
The leg is near breaking, Phil. The positioning is very nearly perfect.
Dumar rolling, Ian
Elbow
Entwistle
is
rolling
just
with
slightly
it.
high up on the muscle of the forearm. If that forearm slides down under the heel just slightly, there's a readjustment.
Ian Entwistle readjusting. Has that heel tight. Dumar trying to step over. How much can he take of this? Ian Entwistle really trying to snap that heel hook on. Dumar doing a good job right now of defending, but is he delaying the inevitable? He looks like, Ian doesn't look like he has the angle quite on it just yet.
There's a readjustment. The bone in the forearm is now firmly under that heel.
If Ian can't quite get this, you could see him readjust to the knee bar. But he's trying to flatten out on it. He's got full purchase on it right now, Demar Roa.
Not quite, Phil. He's got to get the forearm about 2 inches lower down, a little bit closer to the wrist. If he does, the leg will break. If he doesn't, because he's so well muscled, with the muscle there's just a little bit of literally wiggle room.
Demar Roa trying to break the grip of Ian Entwistle right now, digging in underneath the armpit, has one. Ian readjusts the grip, and right now it's so pivotal that Demar Roa does not make a wrong step, or else he's going to get his knee ligament snapped.
Demar Roa gathering his strength, hand fighting.
Demar trying to peel the hands off without putting his hands in the gloves, but Ian Entwistle is like a dog with a bone. Now trying to readjust,
Demar
may
can
look to
figure
roll.
for that leg.
May try and roll Demar, but then again rolls into it. Again trying to just isolate the opposite ankle this time.
Brave Nation, this is leg lock mastery.
This is an absolute chess match, and this is not where Demar wants to be at all. Now, the only thing that Demar has not done was taken advantage of the fact that Ian has committed both hands with the likes of a heel hook. You have to commit both hands. Demar has managed to get out of that position and now finds himself in the dominant side control position.
He's in top side. I know his style. Very shortly, he's going to try and rain some blows down. Stop.
Oh, I think an
Doctor
injury
has come in. We do not know
I think we could be looking
how
at
this injury happened.
I think we're looking at a dislocation here.
Demar Roa is looking concerned for the fighter. NT Entwistle is holding on to his lower limb. He's in a great deal of pain. Brave Nation, we do not know exactly how the injury happened. We will get...
Something happened in the transition there. We didn't quite see it. It wasn't something offensive, I believe, on the part of Demar. I think
Here's the replay, Phil. Let's get a look.
We're literally just looking at an anomalous injury.
There was the tap.
And it was his knee. He's pointing at his knee. I thought it may have been a dislocation of the elbow, but something happened to the knee in that exchange.
I have to say, Phil, in 27 years, that is a first for me. I have never seen a lower limb injury that I absolutely had no idea the origin of. Demar Roa standing victorious. He withstood a brutal leg lock attack. And ironically, it was Entwistle's leg that ended up giving way.
Ian Entwistle lying on his back in front of us here. The knee has been elevated, and again, we're not sure if it was a dislocation. We're not sure if something popped. We'll try and get clarification here from referee Dickie Larkin. But it's looking like Ian will need to be taken out in a stretcher.
The medical staff here is now supporting the lower limb, and they're going to support his entire body. Entwistle is going to be stretchered out of here. The medical care in Bahrain is world class.
Obviously,
He's
right
going
now,
to receive all care necessary in extremely short order.
Obviously, right now, our thoughts are with Ian Entwistle.
Entwistle's face is racked with disappointment and pain.
If we can, I'd like to see another replay of what happened there, please, guys in the truck. Thank you very much. You can see his knee is compressed. Demar Roa does have the knee up compressed.
The source of that injury, the top leg, is already injured. Tap out. But the origin of the injury is unknown at this point. When Entwistle returns from the hospital, we will interview him. We're going to review tape. At this point, unfortunately, it remains a mystery. And you do have a winner in this fight. Demar Corazon de Leon Lionheart Roa is the winner. Sustained one of the most brutal lower leg lock attack sequences I have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible way to finish the night at Brave CF 45. This main event comes to an end at 2 minutes and 47 seconds of the first round. Your winner by TKO, From Bogota, Colombia, Dumar Corazon de Leon
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Dumar Roa. Now stands his record at 15-8. Not the way he would have wanted to win, but a victory is a victory nonetheless. We're going to do everything we can to grab a quick word with Dumar.